Welcome to day 1 of your Learn Yoga Challenge. You ready? All right, we are going to begin with standing poses. Great way to warm up. It's also a great way to start learning yoga because you begin to learn more about your body and where it is in space. So we're going to start off in the first of the standing poses, which is Tadasana or mountain pose. You will find I share both the Sanskrit name and the English name. I love the Sanskrit. There's actually lots of reasons for using the Sanskrit, but I also know it's hard to remember, so the English name makes it a little bit easier to remember. Tadasana is good posture pose. It's merely standing, if you will, which actually makes it really hard because you stand all the time. You have for years, right? So that means we have to overcome some of the bad habits that we have brought into our standing posture, as well as all the tense muscles and the weak muscles that cause us to use the wrong muscles. You know where I'm going. So when learning Tadasana, there's actually lots to it, and I will slowly add more to it as we go through, especially in the Complete Beginner Yoga Series 2.0. But just for today, here's what I want to do. We're going to get you set up with a basic posture that you can then practice. This is a great thing to practice when you're brushing your teeth or shampooing your hair or washing the dishes or standing in line at the grocery store. Yes, you can do it with shoes on. It's better to if you're barefoot, but if you're just out and about during your day, this is something you can bring in as just this quiet practice for yourself. Okay? So if you're ready, have your feet hip width apart. Now, let me just say that a lot of lineages, yoga lineages, meaning different schools of yoga, often teach this with the feet together. Or actually, the big toes are together and the heels are out slightly. I like this too. There are lots of ways to teach yoga. Okay, there's no real right or wrong. I actually once had a yoga teacher who said, really all we're doing as yoga teachers is sharing our experience of yoga in our body. So true. And the more you learn about yoga, and the path that I want to guide you down is being able to make the yoga that you're doing your own. And I'm just here to guide you to understand more about what's going on inside your own body so that you can figure out what's right for you. So that said, when I'm teaching something that might be different from someone else, I'm going to share with you why I teach it this way so that you can make the decision for yourself on what feels better in your body. So I do Tadasana this way sometimes, but most of the time I do feet apart, hip width apart. This is why. When your feet are together, it's nice because you actually can drill your energy down into the earth, which really gets you strong. However, it also makes you wibbly wobbly, right? If you close your eyes like this, you start to sway like a drunken sailor. I want people, especially beginners, to feel like they are a mountain, like they are rooted, they are grounded, they are like, I can do anything. That's mountain pose for me. So I want hip width apart because that aligns your skeleton. It also aligns your energy lines in your body. So it's a really powerful place to be. Now, just make sure you've assessed the true width of your hips. I'm telling you, people overestimate the width of their hips all the time. If you put your hands on your hip points, which are the bones in front of the hip, the feet should be just slightly inside of that because your hip joint is actually just inside of these bones. Okay? All right. Now, from here, you want to feel like you're balanced between the right and left foot. Feel like your energy is moving down to the ground. I know that one's kind of hard, but just feel like you're sinking into the sand on the beach. And then you're going to extend the legs and feel like you're growing. So, if you are at the fair, and if you were just half an inch taller, you could ride the roller coaster, what would you do? You get really long, right? This actually stretches out your spine. It strengthens some really important muscles, so feel that. Then you're going to roll the shoulders up, back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then release. So this is as relaxed as you can get it, but you are also making the spine super long, reaching up and out through the top of the head. Feel that? This is what I want you to practice. Anytime you find yourself standing, brushing your teeth, shampooing your hair, practice this position. All right, this is Tadasana. So let's take it into our second standing pose, which is Veerdrossana 2 or Warrior 2 pose. Separate your feet. Now, when you step the feet apart, you want to go as far as you're comfortable without feeling like you're going to tip over, okay? So if you are brand new, you might feel like, I really need to be here. That's totally fine, okay? I might need a wall or a chair because of balance, or maybe your inner thighs are really tight, and that's all the further you can go. Totally fine. Now, if you're really flexible or you feel kind of strong and you feel like you can go further, you only want to go as far as having your feet beneath your hands or so, okay? Now, I say or so, you'll figure it out as you go along. So approximately beneath the hands. And I know that's kind of hard to tell if you are there, but just do the best you can on that, okay? Just make sure you don't feel like this is scary. You don't need to go that far. Then we're going to turn the feet. Almost all the standing poses in yoga have the same or a similar turn of the feet. The back foot, we're going to make that the left foot. We're going to go to the right. You're going to turn the left foot in just a little, about 30 degrees or so. You're just angling it in, and you're angling the whole leg in, okay? And then you're going to turn the front foot or the right foot out 90 degrees. And here's the thing, you need to make sure it's a full 90, meaning it's parallel to both sides of your mat. Most people only turn it 80 degrees, 75 degrees, so that the toes are pointing in. That can hurt your knee and then your back. So you want to turn that foot all the way out, make sure it's parallel to both sides of the mat, and then this is position. Then you want to align the feet so the heel of the front foot aligns approximately with the arch of the back. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect, but as close as you can. Now, this position and this back leg turning in protects the knees. So you do want to turn the back leg, then the front leg. Okay, if you turn that front leg, you can torque at the knees before you turn that back leg. Okay? Then, the second thing we're going to do is square the shoulders. Now, watch as you square the shoulders that the knee doesn't drop in. And I'll give you a hint on how to do that in a moment, how to make sure it's not dropping in. But often when we square, this knee comes in, which can strain the knee. And then you're going to bring the arms up to shoulder height. Now, this is super crucial. Make sure the shoulders don't hurt. Okay, so much shoulder stuff going on for all of us. I don't think there's anybody who's exempt from it. And you want to make sure there's no strain in the shoulders. If there is, we can create more strain, more tension. So if you feel a strain, you're just going to bring the elbows into the body, and this is how you will do the pose. If you're comfortable, you're going to bring the arms up. And then I want you to peek down at your right knee as you bend the knee, and make sure it's pointed right over the toes as you bend it so that the knee is above the ankle. So if your feet are closer, right, if you have that narrow stance, you won't go as far. If you're further out, the ultimate goal, if you will, in this pose is to have the thigh parallel to the floor. Now, you want to make sure this knee is not dropping in, and it would drop in if you hadn't opened the knee. Remember when we squared, I said I would show you a way to make sure that knee is aligned. If the knee drops in, it means when you squared, the knee came in with it. So you're square and you're pressing the knee back gently so you can see the big toe on the inside of your knee. Now come back up, arms come down, turn the feet to the front, and we'll take it to the other side. Right foot in, 30 degrees, just a little. Left foot turns out 90 degrees, so the heel of the front foot lines up with the arch, parallel to both sides of the mat. I wasn't totally parallel. I just checked my foot out, made sure it was doing what I wanted to be doing, and it wasn't. Bring the arms up, bend the knee, track it right over the foot so it's not dropping in. You're gently pressing it back and going in so the knee is just above the ankle. Just want to make sure it's not going beyond the ankle. It's okay if you're behind the ankle, but you don't want to be beyond it. Beautiful. Now the head turns to look over the left arm as long as there's no strain in the neck. And then come back up. Arms come down. Turn the feet to the front. Step back into Tadasana. And just take a breath and just notice. Are you feeling a difference in the body yet? And the answer might be, oh my gosh, there's tension. It could be, I don't feel anything. It could be that felt fabulous. Everyone is different. Everyone's going to respond differently, and how you respond to each pose will change in the lifetime of your practice. Okay, if you have a block, now it's time to grab it, and you're going to place it on the back side of the right side of your mat. Okay, back into Tadasana. So we're starting from that centered place. Remember, you're rooting down through the feet. Just feel like you're burying your feet into the sand as you get really long, because you want to ride the roller coaster. And you're relaxing the shoulders back and down. Now it's okay to do a sweep of the shoulders if that helps. And then separate the feet. We're going to do the next standing pose. So this one is called Trikonasana or triangle pose. Super popular yoga pose and a little awkward, but the beauty of it is because it's awkward, you've never done this before. So it's easier than learning standing because there's no bad habits to undo. We're going to do the same foot position. You're going to turn your left foot in just a little. Right foot turns out 90 degrees. And you want to make sure the heel of the front foot lines up with the arch of the back. Again, you bring the arms up. Now that's where we're going ultimately, but for this round, we're going to take the hands to the hip hinge just to make it a little easier. You want to tip at the hips. So all I want you to do is just shake the hips a couple of times. Often people want to move from the spine. I don't want you doing that. In fact, look down and notice, is it my shoulders that are moving or is it my hips that are moving? You want to keep your spine long. If you have a mirror, even better to check it out. You're going to tip over from that hip hinge, and then your bottom hand goes to the block if you can't reach it, okay, because this is a pretty strong stretch on the hamstring. If you can't reach it, you can bend the knee a little bit or use a chair. I don't recommend resting on the leg. I know a lot of times that's what they do in yoga, but the problem with resting on the leg is it can put too much pressure on the knee and it can blow out the back of your knee. We need to be really careful with that. If you're further down, you certainly can rest on the leg. However, there are reasons that I use a block that I will share at a later date, actually in the Complete Beginner Yoga Series 2.0. And just trust me, there's added benefits to using the block if you have one. And then you're going to bring the top arm up and just feel open across the heart as much as you can. And then you're going to come back up. Arms come down, turn the feet to the front, take the block to the other side. Now on this side, we're going to move into it with the arms. So I want you to first turn the feet. Right foot turns in just a little. Left foot turns out 90 degrees. And again, one foot is parallel to each side of your mat, and your toes are turned totally out. And you're going to bring the arms up, and you're going to move the hip back. Now, if you're not quite sure if you're moving at the hips, you can bring those arms down, and the hands right at that hip hinge, and you're going to bring the arms up as you extend out and come down. And you want to be as long as you can in the spine, kind of tricky to do for sure. Find your breath. And then come back up. Arms come down, turn the feet to the front, step back into Tadasana, and just take a breath. And again, just see, can I feel a difference in my body? Maybe yes, maybe no. All right. We're going to do one more standing pose. So again, separate your feet, and you're going to take the block back behind your right leg. We're going to do a pose called Parsvakasana or extended side angle. So get as wide, again, that really wide stance as far as you're comfortable going. Then we're going to turn the feet, left foot in just a little, right foot out 90 degrees. Heel of the front foot lines up with the arch of the back. Legs are strong as you open across the heart. And then you're going to bring the arms up. And we're going to bend the front knee just like the first pose we did. Bring it right over the ankle. Make sure you can see the big toe to the inside of the knee. And then you're going to bring your front elbow down to the thigh. Or if you can reach the block, take the hand down. Just make sure you're not rounding the spine to get there. So if your feet are closer together, you're not going to be able to reach the block without rounding. If you're a little bit wider, you'll be able to get there. And then this arm circles around and comes up by the ear. So you have a nice long line from the outside of the back foot up and out through the fingertips. Peek down, make sure that knee is right over the ankle. You can gently press it back. If your hand is on the block, you can press it into the arm. And just feel that nice long stretch up the left side of the body. Doesn't that feel good? Whew. And then come on up. Arms come down, turn the feet to the front. We'll do the other side. Take your block over. So this one is sort of a mix of the first two poses we did, the warrior two pose and the triangle, right? We have the knee bend of the warrior pose and the tip from Trikonasana. So turning the feet, left foot in just a bit, right foot out 90 degrees. Sorry, right foot in, left foot out. Make sure it's parallel to both sides of the mat, and I'm telling you, 33 years after I started practicing yoga, I still check that foot. And I'm still off every once in a while, more often than I care to admit. So I really do believe in checking that alignment of the feet because that protects the knee, the lower back, and actually the neck as well. If that alignment is off, it can mess everything up all the way up. It's worth checking. Bring the arms up. And you're going to bend the knee, make sure it's tracking right toward the toes, gently pressing the knee back, remember? And do you notice I'm adjusting my feet? I realized I was a little too close. So you can just scooch if you can. And then bringing the elbow down or to your block. And then swing that arm around slowly and up by the ear. So important for you to listen to your body in your yoga practice and make this yours. I may be able to reach this block easily. If you can't, come to your knee. Ultimately in this pose, actually, it's on the floor. Your hand is on the floor. And if you're really flexible and strong enough and you can get there, go for it. That's a little big for me right now. And then come back up. And you're going to bring the arms down, turn the feet to the front, step back into Tadasana, and take a breath. Feel your body. Can you feel the difference in your body and mind? Feels so good. Always feels good. All right, now wall push. So wall push is a precursor, if you will, to downward facing dog. If you know anything about yoga, you know what down dog is because it comes up a lot. However, it's really hard on tight shoulders, and it's really rare to find someone who doesn't have tight shoulders. So we want to build the body up to this pose, and this is a great variation to do. Plus, it's a great variation to do any time during the day, like your hands against the wall to stretch your shoulders out, or your hands on your desk or the table or the back of a chair. It's a really nice thing to do at any point, just to help your body a little bit, okay? When you're not quite ready, especially to get into down dog. So you're going to come to a wall, hence the name wall push, and you're going to take your hands to about shoulder height, okay? If you are really tight in your shoulders, you're going to go higher. Okay, I'm going to show you the full pose, and then you can join me, and you can take it higher if you need to. You're going to walk your feet back until you're about at a right angle, but it depends if you're open enough in the shoulders. You want to think of drawing your shoulders away from your ears. So you're going to pull those shoulders down. If you're not quite sure what that is, then scrunch your shoulders up and then pull them down. And then you're going to hold that very gently as you push against the wall and reach out through your pelvis. Reach out through the bottom of the pelvis, so your sit bones, if you will. We'll talk about sit bones in a couple of videos. So you're pressing through the hands and reaching back. And if this is super tight for you, you can walk up a little bit, take your hands up the wall, and from there, reach back. Nice way to breathe in some essential oils when you're doing this right over your diffuser. And just breathe as you get a nice stretch in. And then to come out, you just walk your feet up and let your arms come down. And we'll do one final Tadasana. Feet are hip width. Feel your feet root down, snuggling your feet into the sand. As you elongate, get really long, and you probably are finding you're not even stretching as much as you were because you've already elongated. One of the benefits of yoga. And then you're going to bring the shoulders up, back, and down, and then just take a breath. Doesn't that feel great? All right, those are just the first few of the standing poses. I look forward to seeing you on day 2. Got some really fun stuff planned for you. Namaste.